you can hear me. Welcome everyone to another episode of LanceScurv Live. This is going to be a little controversial tonight. Let me make some adjustments here. I'm in the wrong position. I need to adjust this camera. No, I think I'm all right. I just have to move my big head out of the way. Let me know how the sound is. Yesterday we started out, I had one of the microphones hooked up way on across the room, so it sounded fuzzy. I'm going to tell you right now, it is hot in Africa. It is hot in Ghana. It is hot at the base of the mountains where we are living temporarily. It is hot, 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 hot. That being said, I love it. It's where I'm supposed to be, right? Wow. We got a topic tonight. Let me just open up the chat room so I can greet everybody. I see a whole lot here. Okay. Indigo King, he said it's Friday night. It's Friday, no holding back on this one. Do you want me to be raw? Controversial, a little spicy, but polite, energetic, and right to the point. It's Friday night, so we're gonna make it where I'm gonna say it now from Friday night. So this tonight is not gonna be a long one, y'all. I did the one the other night that was long. I stayed up again. I had to jump up early and do some things. I'm always saying that, but I will have my hours adjusted where I will get in the bed on time. Starting next week, we're going to do good long shows, but I got to get to bed on time so I can get up and do what I got to do. This was a transitional week, but I'm glad that you all see that I'm making the effort and I'm really into what we're doing here. See? Okay, let's see what else Indigo's here. It's like, okay, yeah, right. Hit that like button. I'm going to start asking. We got 40 people in here. We should have 40 likes, right? Okay, unapologetically royal. You are here. Kwame, you are here. Yes, you are. Got a bunch of messages here. Real women don't do nonsense. Yes, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that, sister. Real, this is true of some. I've seen it. Yes. Before we even get into the topic, how many of you have seen straight, what do you call it? The guys over the choir, right? Choir directors. How many of, I mean, they always seem to get that position. Shaking their butt and everything like that. What's up with that? Duncan, how are you? Yes, I'm glad you're here. Yes, you're on Facebook, so you won't see the YouTube crowd, but I can see you. I can see all, right? Let me see here. NFN Shaka, yes, peace to you. Giant Gang, I kind of knew you'd be here for this one because you know it's going to be juicy. Wow. Yeah, you're right, Indigo King. You fell asleep and woke up and we were still alive. I don't mind those, but I just have to keep things in balance because I could be my own worst enemy. But let's jump right into it. This will not be super long. I got to put it this way. If you can remember that little mountain footage that we had last week. We put it up, was it Saturday that we put it up? We made it Saturday. I think we put it up on Sunday. Right? We took it on Saturday because it's long, right? Well, tomorrow we'll be making some runs out and about, and I'm going to take the same camera and we're going to be walking all through places you've never seen before. Just regular areas, nothing super special, but other regular areas. And it's going to be a couple of hours. I'm going to bring that camera and a couple of batteries, and I'm just going to hold it to the side and roll. And it's going to be real clear. It's not going to be the other one like the GoPro. It's going to be big and clear. So it'll give you a lot to look at. So pretty much, like I said, everywhere I go, I want to, when I go out somewhere, not to the corner store or something like that, but just when I go somewhere, I just want to, because, you know, sometimes when you're here, people are like, I'm so used to it. But maybe those who are living in the States, the UK, other places, they're not used to it. They want to see it, you know? And I don't always take the same areas. I go up and down a lot in the same areas. So I'm not going to get redundant and say, Lance, man, it's the only place you go. Because I really live a Spartan life. I'm like a monk. But when I know I'm going somewhere else, you know, we're going to have fun. You're going to hear Mrs. SCURV and I talking. I'm going to have the mic hooked up as we walk. It'll be a hangout. And I'm going to try to get her on tomorrow morning. I was going to have her come on tonight, but she's like, I'm tired. I'll do 2 minutes. I'll say hi. I went into the room a little while ago. She said, I was like, listen, go ahead. But we're going to do it. I might want to do a live before we leave, you know, because she's there a lot of time and wanting to do stuff. And then sometimes I look and she falls out real quick. Anyway, let me see who else came in. Reese, I know you'd be here, right? Wait a second. Oh, wait. Did I see my name here? Lance Fix, 63. He's right. It's gay and backwards. Go figure. A lot of gay married straight people. Oh, I can tell you a whole lot about that. I can tell you a whole lot. I got stuff stuck on my teeth, but I can't tell. Look at what I've been eating. Look at this. This granola. Oh, man. Gluten-free and everything. It's real good. And I got an almond milk over here. So before, can't believe this. I had the top off of it and some of it spilled. I don't want to be so rude. Please let me get a sip. I got to hydrate myself because it's hot and I'm sweaty. You're lucky, because if I wasn't live, I'd tear the whole thing up right now in one shot. Anyway, let's have some fun. I want to just say in the beginning, the sound is okay, right? Right? Just let me know if the sound's okay. Oh, Yala, my lovely, beautiful sister. Let me know. I'm waiting for that phone call, right? Let me know if the sound is good. And aside from a power outage, because the lights have been blinking 3 seconds here, 3 seconds there. If it blinks for 3 seconds, I'm out and you won't see me. Just give me a little time to come back on, maybe like 90 seconds to 2 minutes. I'll probably just do it through the phone. Thank you, Indigo. Thank you so much. This was really something he said in 2017. And I just want to say that people say, well, why are you, look, let me let you in on something. There's a whole slew of gay dudes that they're listening now and they're salivating. And there's a couple in particular that they want attention so bad by coming at me, because I've said things from the heart about the LGBT, same gender loving community, right? Nothing scathing, nothing bad. I don't hate anybody. I just feel that one should do what they do behind closed doors. I mean, if I was into like chihuahuas or something, how would you know unless I'm pushed out in the street? Now that's bestiality and that's dogs. That's the same thing as laying with a white woman, bestiality, dog DNA. I'm gonna be a little nuts tonight for the time that I'm on. You look, it's Friday. I can't believe how fast the week went by. We got a lot done. Boy, did we get a lot done. And I should be probably exhausted, you know. In the bottom, I'll always put some funny names. Internet provocateur, supreme. I provoke stuff. I make you think. You all know me, how I do. But this was something that he uttered from his lips in 2017. And it's just as much of a prominent conversation, something that we talk about now today. So before some people say, that's old news. It's not old news. It's still happening right now. It's still going on right now. And the Black church, and some people say, well, it's all churches. Well, I'm not, all communities don't embrace me and have not been a part of the mosaic of my walk. So I have had to be multicultural in my understanding in America because we live in a multicultural place, but my walk is Black. I don't make any gripes about that. I don't have any problem saying that publicly, because when people see me that don't look like me, I don't care how much they say, we don't see color. Right. That's why when I was crossing the street at the red light, when you had the red light, you locked your doors. That's why when I'm in your stores, you have your security guards following me because you don't see any color. When you're walking down the street late at night and you're walking toward me, you cross the street and clutch your handbag, even though I might have more money in my wallet than you have in your handbag, right? So people say these things, and we know how that goes. We know how the double thinking goes. Now, again, I said this was back in 2017. He said it. I have it here. I want you to hear it. I'm going to play it. Let me see if I hit the right tab here. Let me turn this up. I played it twice. I had it recorded twice. I said I have to keep on hitting it. It's only maybe less than a minute, around a minute, but just for the show's sake. So people might say, he didn't say that, or he said it this way, not that way. Here it goes.
I think the gayest place on the face of the earth is the Black church. And it's one of the most repressive. Because I think all the dudes there is kids that used to got to go with their kids, dudes that used to got to go with their wives, and men that are trying to pray the love of dick out of their heart. They're like, I'm already on my knees. So like, I just think it's the gayest place on the face of the earth. And it's ridiculous to act and pretend like we don't know that these things exist. I think the gayest place on the face of the earth is the Black church. And it's one of the most repressive. Because I think all the dudes there is kids that used to got to go with their kids, dudes that used to got to go with their wives, and men that are trying to pray the love of dick out of their heart. They're like, I'm already on my knees. So like, I just think it's the gayest place on the face of the earth. And it's ridiculous to act and pretend like we don't know that these things exist.
That's the thing. We pretend, we look the other way. And the real point of the show is not just about the gay church. We might as well call it the gay church, right? The Black church being the gayest place on the face of the earth. It's about other things, and I'll bring those other things out. And, you know, just to get a more serious tone, because you never know what'll fly out of my mouth. It's always been that way as far as I'm concerned. I've always spotted it. I've always noticed it. And even before I had the understanding of what all this stuff was all about, I would overhear my mother, my father, and friends, you know, in whispered tones. They weren't scared to say it, but I'm just saying that was something that, you know, when they got down to the nitty gritty, they weren't gossipers or whatnot, but they talked about it. My mother was trained in opera, but she sung gospel, and she sung this, she sung that, she sung everything. She had the most beautiful voice ever. Not a screaming voice, but a real beautiful voice. And there's no secret on this channel. I say that my mother would have really had, you probably would have known her if she had a full career, but you know, she had my brother, and that brought on certain issues, and she sort of focused on that. She also sung with the Hall Johnson Choir. You can Google that, in the early 50s when she was much younger. And there were people that she rehearsed with, because she was in different choirs, different small groups that may have been maybe like a handful of people. And I remember going to those rehearsals with her on a Saturday. You know, it was either that or go with my father, who, you know, he had his own business. My parents were together, but Saturdays was like, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I'm mad at you. I'm going with this one. Oh, okay. We're going to be near this restaurant, or you're working in this restaurant, we're doing the floors. I'm going with you. Whatever. So I had a varied childhood, and it always involved Manhattan, because a lot of people who lived up in Harlem, Washington Heights, that, you know, they had these rehearsals in their home. And then there were the big church rehearsals and stuff. So I had a lot of stimulation as a child. And so I was very shocked that after getting to know many of these people, and I won't mention any names here, some have gone on to be semi-famous, because they weren't some whatever. It's not about fame, but to hear those names and to hear the things that I heard, and they didn't say anything in a scathing way. It wasn't some, and I'm not going to use the word homophobic. That's some stupid behind word that, like, you have some power over me, I'm going to be scared of you. You know, I mean, arachnophobia is more up my alley because, you know, I don't want certain insects and bugs and snakes and bugs and whatever the words are particular for them. That's more so they'll bite you and get you sick. I've been through that. 2019 malaria, almost died. So yeah, I'm always watching. I'm always got something around to spray or wipe or cover me up, but it's not a phobia. So what am I scared of? I'm secure in myself. I know who I am. And like I said, there are a slew of people who are going to be watching this right now. There are a slew of people, even more, a smaller amount, who want to slay the dragon's head. That's me. They want to get into debates with me. I want to come and debate with you like I'm the champion and they're the number 2 contender, or like they're the number 9 contender and can't get a shot. There's nothing to debate. I've been on this earth a lot longer than some of these people. My viewpoints and perspectives are already formed. And again, there's no hate, but it is what it is. If I see someone in the same sex loving, whatever you want to call it, getting beat down for no reason and they're my brother, even though they're acting like a sister, I'm going to defend them. I'm not going to say, oh, ha, 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 you a little fag, ha, 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 go on and get, no, I'm not going to do that. Right is right and wrong is wrong. But if I feel that certain things are part of a bigger agenda, I'm not going to be afraid to say it. No matter how much you like to do that or indulge in those activities, you know, it is what it is. And don't come and tell me love is love. I love everybody, but I don't want to play in a shithole. You know what I mean? I mean, come on, man. Let's be real. Love is one thing. And then unbridled, twisted lust is a different thing. And if you feel that you have a stronger connection to that over than what's righteous, then that's your problem. You know, I lived a decade or two. I used to love to have several women in the bed with me. I had to struggle with that. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying I'm a saint, and it was no forced thing. They were down with it. I loved it. I felt things that the human brain ain't supposed to feel. Well, you do this and you do that. That's why I'm twisted now. And you get these flashbacks. I still got to struggle with that. I'm not struggling like I'm gonna go out there and do it, but you don't forget. There ain't nobody gonna come and put their hand on my head. You're saved, and all of a sudden everything's erased. You got a memory. Now, if you want to indulge looking in the menu and never stop looking at the menu and get tempted to go buy one of them plates and get something to eat, then that's on you. You know control and you know where you want to go. We all have our struggles. Look, I don't mind that being my struggle. You know what I mean? I don't want cocaine to be my struggle. I don't want no homosexuality to be my struggle. Yo, good God. It's just more of what is natural, okay? And even that, like I said, you know, we all have our things we've gone through. I'm just very transparent with mine. But yeah, there's a whole bunch that are just out there looking for clout, looking for attention. Anytime I mention a show like this, it's like, yeah, you know, I had one guy live stream a show I was on to his people. I think he had like 3 people watching, and then maybe he had like 200 something subscribers. I don't knock that because the one time I had 200 something subscribers, but I never went to anybody's channel to make a big hoopla to get attention to make people come over. I got this the hard way. Day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, year in, year out, decade in, decade out. And it ain't where it's supposed to be, and I don't care. I'm still here, I'm still breathing, I'm still alive. Now, is it the gayest place on earth? And I'm going to play this again, maybe 10, 15 minutes for those who came in late. But is the black church the gayest place on earth? Now, we know that we got places like Greenwich Village in New York City, which back in the day, it was like the gay embassy. Like, you can't mess with them when they're there in that part of the city. That's where they go. That's what they do, as long as they don't bother you. This high concentration of that. You had dudes back in the day that they were gay secretly. But when they went down to Greenwich Village on a Friday night, Saturday night, or whenever they went, like, how, they came out. And if you saw them, you would be shocked, like, what are you doing here? I remember I was with a friend of mine, and we were down there, right? It looked funny because I guess we're 2 guys, but it didn't look funny because we were just really, a lot of straight dudes would go down there, wonderful restaurants. I don't know how it is now, but I know on 8th Street in the Village, man, you had some of the best shoe shops in the world. I mean, custom shoes. They were kind of pricey, but they were real nice. Some of the small restaurants down there, sushi joints, the Italian joints, and you had falafel joints. Oh, there's a place there right there by Washington Square Park. It's a falafel joint that's been down there for for the longest time. It's next door to, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, Cafe Regio. That's one of the songs on the original Shaft album, Cafe Regio. Well, next door to Cafe Regio is this falafel joint. I forgot what the name was, just a falafel joint, very small joint. I'm just giving you all a bit of history. Cafe Regio on the Shaft album. Right next door was the actual falafel place that I used to go to in the late 70s and the early 80s, 90s, whatever. And as far as I knew, it was still there. It might still be there. Anybody there in New York City now, you may not be on that block, but if you happen to go through that neighborhood, right by Washington Square Park on the southwest corner of Washington Square Park. And for those who don't know Washington Square Park, I should pull up a picture. But you know, when you see it, man, you see this big one arch. It's one big stone arch, and there's a park around it, around New York University. That's Washington Square Park. You'll see it on all kind of music videos and stuff down through the years. But you know, that was a wonderful place. But yeah, in the Village, it was for everybody. Greenwich Village was for everybody. Let me see here. Idris, hey, I'm waiting for you to give me the word. I'm ready this year, brother. I'm ready this year. You tell me I'm there. You tell me, you know, I'm there. You line up the universities and I'm there. I'm ready. I'm ready for you. And I have camera will travel. We're ready. You let me know. Now, when I go, I'm not going to say to the world, I am going to Kenya. Nobody knew anyway still, right? But now that the cat's out the bag, I'll keep that particular time when we'll talk tomorrow. We'll talk tomorrow and we'll hammer it out. I'm coming. You say in 2 weeks, come, 3 months, 6 months, we'll be there. And I'm going to put some work in. You know what I mean? You're going to see a whole different side of LanceScurv. So I'm looking forward to that big time. And thank you so much. But I'll call you. I was meaning to call you anyway, because now look how the year is flying by. This is February already. February, right? First round is over. I won that. Second round, I'm in it. I'm trying to win that as far as my goals and things that I aim for. Like, again, I look at the year like a 12-round fight. I'm a 15-round guy from back in the day, but I'll still say 12 rounds because that's what they do today. So 12 rounds, I'm winning every round. I'm going to finish up this fight strong of 2023. And definitely that visit will definitely, it's going to be, you know, yeah. Okay, let's get it going. I'm ready. I'm already here in the motherland, even though I know it's a good long flight over there. But when I get there, we're going to come alive and we're going to bring everything back to share it with everybody. And it's going to be phenomenal. Guaranteed. I'll be ready. I'll be in shape. I'll be maybe a little 20 pounds lighter. Now, if you say 2 weeks, it's going to take a little longer than that, but I'm going to be ready. It's going to be a wonderful thing. But anyway, like I was saying, but with it being the gayest place on the planet, we know they have gay clubs where it's nothing but gay dudes or gay areas. I know San Francisco, like Dave Chappelle said, is the anus of North America. That's funny. But they're everywhere. It's not, where's my rag? They're everywhere, right? We understand this, but it's a bigger thing to this. But as far as the Black church is concerned, yes, it's one of the gayest places in the world and on the planet, because it's made to be that way. It has been infiltrated for a long time. And if you notice, they're not, and there must be some, but it can't be like it used to be back in the day. Like I said, I'm not saying slavery was not a good thing at all, but the Black church as it was back in those days, which I couldn't tell you to say, I remember back in 1756, you know, I was going to, look, I'm old, but I ain't that old, right? But going off of what I know in history and my own research and pretty much what you hear people say from those experiences, it was a place where you got a little break from the slave master, just a little bit less, right? You didn't have death hanging over your head as much in these things because they let the niggers, you know, worship the white Jesus, and they were still there, right? But it was a place where we gathered, and it was really not just jumping around, you know, worshiping a white Jesus, but, you know, we organized, it was social, you know, we ate our food together. And this is why I see now in some of the churches, some of the smaller churches especially, when you go to church, or Sunday was church. You get up at the crack of dawn, you might eat something at home, or they might have something at the church. You ate there, you did your Sunday school, your Bible study there, you hung around a little bit. The real service was going to start. That started. That went on long. Then after that, you went out and got something to eat with the people who you went to church with. Then you had an evening service. Now, the only way that you got out of that is if you had some extra homework to do or certain things you had to do. And most people stayed there until nighttime. Some people went home and changed their clothes. You know what I mean? Some would do little things that they had, and they'd be right back. But Sunday meant church. This is what I know going through church with different friends of mine. And there were churches that my mother went to, but again, she was more expanded because she was going around and she wasn't a typical church lady because she taught me things that had nothing to do with the Bible. My father taught me things that had nothing to do with the Bible, some things that were touching on it, some things that were in it, but they let me know there were other things out there, right? So this is why I can't really, there are friends of mine growing up that were just in it, and they suffered because of it, because they were so religious and so sticking to certain things that they harm themselves oftentimes when things in life happen. And I won't go into details all the way. I did mention one story, but I'm not going to do that because certain people who might be listening, I don't want to insult them or put their business out. But the ignorance of us sticking to this thing so much, and it's not like things change because it's a moral thing. You got the laws of Ma'at, which blow the 10 Commandments away. There's so much more in detail. So it's not like you're checking off a list. You pretty much, those are guidelines. When you're turning from a single lane road into a wider road, you don't just turn all the way and go wide and go into oncoming traffic. You pretty much have a guide and you understand. And then, on baby spiritual legs, they can be weak. And we make them get stronger over time by the guide and the guideline. But they're little things that the Bible would never put in there or write about, because we should know that this is right or wrong. We all have this voice inside of us. And my thing is that, most people don't talk about it, how I can't even quote the scripture where basically they're saying it's an abomination and man can't lay with man and woman can't lay with woman, whatever. The only thing I'm guilty of at that level is having 2 and 3 women doing each other while I'm in the bed with them. You know what I mean? It was like, you ain't going to stay here, and there. That's wrong. I wasn't no dude with no dude, right? But still, I indulged in something that was an abomination. To me, it wasn't a bad abomination. And I'm making jokes and stuff. I'm not sitting here, I don't think he's sincere. I think he's still doing it. No, I've come to terms with who I am. I've come to terms with the things I've done, and I can laugh about it. And people have brought up things in the past, on shows in the past. Remember that time, Lance? Aha! And I'm like, yeah, let me tell you more about that story that you didn't know. You know what I mean? So I'm not hung up. And I've noticed there are a lot of hang-ups in the church, the black church. And with the homosexual thing, I have no idea how this thing slipped into that bad boy. I mean, it's been there. It's been in the black community, but I have no idea how this thing found itself so strong. I will tell you this, and I was thinking about this earlier today, and this is just a thought, doesn't mean that I say it's a fact, but the way we are targeted is as black men worldwide, where, and this is the overall thing that I wanted to fit this particular topic into, because it's funny, it's comical. D.L. Hughley said what he said. Oh, it's the gayest place on the planet Earth. Right. Does he really mean that? It can't mean every single person there is that. But with the attitude of wanting to turn your head and act like it's not there, and then ask yourself why. If church is supposed to be a representation of the higher one, that creator, if it's supposed to be, why do you have so much dirt going on in there? And one form of dirt is not better or worse than another form. You got whoremongering in there. You got drug abuse in there. You got child molestation, like we were talking about the show last night. The pastor who was screwing the granddaughter who was 8 years old, full intercourse. And how old was he? In his 50s or 60s? Your own granddaughter, man. And you on top, she told me this. And the other parts of it that I didn't tell was that I knew she was a nice person, but when I would see her get on the bus, this is the victim of that. When I would see her get on the bus, she was one way 1 minute, and the next minute she was another way, like super bipolar. But I knew she was a sweet person at the core, and I know since she was a kind of churchified person, the way she carried herself, I knew something had happened in that church. And she would get in the bus. Oh, hi, driver. And after a while, she found out my name is Lance, right? Oh, hi, Lance. Praise the Lord. Mm-hmm. And she started humming and singing. And then she'd sit down next to me and she humming. And she had these really big lips. I mean, not big like the ugly, because beautiful big lips, black woman's lips, beautiful are beautiful. So when I say big lips, I mean the kind of lips that dudes in the street like, damn, girl, look at them lips. And you know what they're thinking. You know what I mean? Like that. But you could think that with anyone. But she had those kind of lips where they're like really, you know, white women see them lips and they got them little slits. Listen, Robert, we're going to get some Botox. I can't take these nigger bitches having beautiful lips. You know what I mean? Now, I don't mean to say that about my sisters. I'm just saying that's how they talk. But then she'd sit there and sing church songs, and then she'd play with me. Because after a while, we got to know each other. We're telling jokes and stuff like that. And I kind of rolled with the mood swings. And then she's after singing one of the church songs, she would say, Lance, real low. And I'm like, uh-oh, she's going to say something funny. Lance, you hear me? I'm like, what's up? And then you know what she's telling me? I need a dick in my mouth. And I'm like, oh, man, you bugging me out. She said, no, I feel like. And I'm like, I was like, are you serious? Why are you telling me this? Well, if you wasn't married, we'd do something after this. And I'm like, man, this is crazy. And then she'd go back. Somebody would come sit down next to her, and then she started witnessing to them about the goodness of having the Lord in your life. So I knew something was different. But when she told me the story, and I'll tell a little more of a different angle of it, the grandfather is on top of her. She's 8 years old. He's in his 50s or damn near 60, full intercourse. And the mother, who's a crackhead, who's getting money from the grandfather, is on the side of the bed, and the bed's just rocking like this. And I ain't making fun because that's how she told it. She said, I had to do that. And I'm looking at my mama and she looking at me. I'm like, damn. And see me, I got to tell things sometimes because sometimes people tell me so much, but only with their permission. And I do want her to come on the show, not to exploit her, because she did tell me that she wanted to tell so much more about the Black church. That she was a victim of so many different things in the church. And she's a very nice person. She's not cuckoo. But she's like me, where she'll say something 1 minute in one style and bust out like, whoa. So you got to be ready for it when you hear her talk. And then she'll laugh like it don't bother her. And then she'll bust out crying. So there are a lot of people out here who need help because of this whole Black church experience, which is not what it was, that safe haven that it was. I can't give you a year. But at what point did the Black church turn from being that thing that sustained life? And it was a moral, like this place that balanced us out with what was happening. Because imagine you're in church and you don't know if that friend of yours, and this is back in the slave days, if they were going to be alive or shipped off somewhere because they're sold. Imagine that. Imagine going to church and you see a woman crying and her husband was taken away, lynched, and some of the kids taken away immediately. Imagine that. So those of us, and white folks will never get it. So don't even try to even explain that, oh, slavery is over. It's not. No, I don't care what you say, right? You don't tell that to the Jews. That thing that happened just the other day ain't even 100 years yet, right? So am I saying something bad about them? Isn't that a fact? Is this some anti-whatever I'm saying, right? I'm still here. I'm still on YouTube talking it. Whoever want to warn me and be laughing if they think I get knocked off, whatever have you, I'm going to say what I say. But the thing we went through hundreds of years, look, we look at it, a lot of us look at it like a TV show, like Roots that came in 5 or 6 parts. And after a while, you have a commercial, you get up, you take a leak, get something to drink, come like, wow, this is entertaining. It's touching, but it's entertaining. This didn't go by that fast because we see the part where people were taken from the motherland, one of the ports and a few of the ports from here in Ghana. I'm doing a trip there soon. I'm going to get more. I want to go there and interview the people who are coming through. I want to spend a day there and ask who wants to maybe, can you talk about how you feel? I know when Mrs. Scurv went there, she was crying. She was hurt. I knew she was. She was holding it in, and the way she has a certain way she'll make her face when she's upset. And I'm like, you all right, sweetheart? And she if she could have got around some of these white men and whoever else was involved, she would have killed them. She was hurt. She came home. She was just like, She wasn't wacko. She was staring off into space, and I realized, she's like, I didn't realize it. She picked up something, right? So imagine being born into it, and that's all you know. And you live this until your old years, and your children are born into it, because life expectancy wasn't as long as it is now. It's a little better for us, but even though those of us who are close to the enemy, we live shorter lives because of certain circumstances. And I can understand why too, because I feel so much better being away from that atmosphere. So imagine being in a situation, not just in a church, but just living, and you're living like this with the threat of death. You're working hard, your back slips out. It's not like, let's take them to the chiropractor. When you got back pain, it's crippling. I know. I had a sciatic nerve and slipped disc back in '84. It comes back every few years, depending on my weight, whatever. They will still work you. You see slaves and hands chopped off. Some of them died, they're just property. Go ahead and die. We don't care. We'll go buy 2 more. You know what I mean? So this is the kind of thing. You're violated as a man because these guys take your wife. You can't be mad at your wife, but it's like, yo, this dude, how you feel? Do you want to make love to her now? I mean, imagine there's some things, not that you hate her, right? I'm not saying, but you know, the psyche. And my thing is, you would think that if it's a place, the Black church, that was so strong and endured and went through this thing, that we'd be more intact. We lost the momentum that we lost from being that place. No matter what your religion, no matter what your belief system was, if you were in that, you wouldn't say, oh, I'm not going there because it's a white Jesus. You're networking, you're talking to other people, and you're dealing with folks who look like you and who are going through things. And it had to be something of a backbone for the Black people who had to deal with that. How do you lose momentum from the time slavery was so-called ended? It ended that way, but slavery is still going on today. And I don't give a damn if you say, oh, no, it's better off you're holding on to it and all that stuff. Right now, they're trying to erase us. And one of the first places that I feel, looking back, was the Black church. If they can poison that place, if they can manipulate it, right? And go there first, it'll be easier to go, because the Black church is so much of a thing with all of us. Even if we never were raised in the church, we know that church lady, we know the church hierarchy, we know the things that go there. And we know back in the day, we had scandals with pastors and stuff like that. But certain things, and we had all the things in society. You know, we have apps now to hook up with people and go meet and have sex and deal with our fetishes and different things. But all those things were around then. They were more hidden, and it took longer to manifest. But how is it that we lost momentum from being that mighty place? Like I said, you don't have to be into the religion. We understand that now, what that was about control. But how poisoned it is today because of the silence of our brothers and sisters who don't want to speak out on certain things. Am I saying we should kick all the gays out? I'm not saying that or whatever, but why is it that you go and you say you worship a God and you honor a God that says certain things are not supposed to be, and they're afraid of saying it, and they'll turn around and say it's hate speech, right? So what if me as a parent told my kids, it's wrong to sniff cocaine, it's wrong to do methamphetamines. Hold on a second, let me, and I'm doing it. Or I let my kids go ahead. I'm telling them it's wrong, but I turn my head from them doing it. I get calls from the school and they caught my child with drugs. They were high out their mind. And I don't really address it. I kind of brush over it. And how these things are affecting children, because it's not like, let's say, from my experiences and the things that I've seen and heard and experienced, it's not like some dude met some dude, and we know that there's an undercover lesbian hierarchy, right? And I'm missing so many of the comments. I will, before I let them go too far. I know there's a lot of intelligent things being said, you know, to go with the topic. Let me just pop one out and keep me, I want to be aligned with you. This great man said, the so-called Black, I got a camera here, so I got to look around it, right? The so-called Black church is nothing but an entertainment center. Yes, you're right. The congregation is being entertained by the screecher, or the preacher, right? Director of the choir, the pianist, the organist, and Sister Mary Sue. And then big leg girls are in the back with them little flags. La, 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 la. You're like, man, look at them girls' legs. Come on. That's what it is. Every aspect is being entertained. Kevin, I see you. I didn't see you before. I wasn't even looking at the chat room. Yeah, you're right, Angie Young. Too much manipulation and dominating. That's right. And yeah, me and Kevin go way decades back to the 70s, right? If I write the book, he can add in about another 5 chapters of things that the world doesn't know about LanceScurv, right? Yeah, Epstein Entertainment Center. Yeah, and hypocrisy. Tracy J, how are you? You're gonna love this one. This is not gonna be as long tonight, and usually I don't have any live scheduled for the weekend, but I will go live tomorrow night at some point and on Sunday, and we're gonna try to get Mrs. Scurvin on tomorrow morning. I'm getting her more used to it, you know. But like I said, how do we lose that righteous momentum so fast? And like great man said, it's entertainment. And many of our sisters, you know, I'm not saying they're going there to be seen, but they're not going to be seen. So they make sure to dress a certain way. And, you know, look, there's such a sexual tension. And see, I'm pointing at everything else but the gay stuff. I'm going to get in on the gay stuff, right? Because, okay, let's say that we knew 2 respectable men. We don't know nothing about them except they're single. And we find out that they've been seen a whole lot shopping together in the mall. When one goes to the doctor's appointment, the other one's there. So we pretty much figured out that they are with each other, messing with each other on some level. That's the way it should be. No more than that. We figured it out. You're not rubbing it in my face. We know what the church says. But then again, in the church, the black church, there's a lot of predatory stuff going on, y'all. There's a lot of hypocritical things going on. Be real. If you are that, be that. And it's not nobody's business to come, yes, I am this. But like Eddie Long used to fight against that so much, and it's wrong and preaching, and he had more balls bouncing off his chin than a basketball court in the NBA. But he gonna fight against, no, don't do that. And like I said, there are many people that I know personally that I love, you know, and I would not do anything or harm anything. I would protect them if they come to some kind of fire out in the street. Am I protecting that? They're that, but you're a human being and I love you. I don't hate nobody unless you give me a reason to dislike you intensely. So don't get up here, oh, he's a good, because there's a lot of gay bloggers and podcasters that are gonna soundbite me, strung things together, and it sound like a straight hate speech. Like the first one I'm gonna see, I'm gonna punch him in his face. They took some sound from another video, and it was evident because the sound had this static behind it, and they strung it together and made it seem like, and there were people straight believing that. But it's wrong. All of the other stuff that you go there for, to the church to heal up from, to get some better understanding, whatever, and you go in there playing the games in there, it's wrong because there's other people in there. But yes, I feel that it's the unwritten rule where in the black church, because these pastors are connected to these politicians so much, and they're ruled by that. They talk about separation between church and state. That's a damn lie. They're like this. They're together. For real. And I just don't understand how we don't see it. Like the guys I knew who were inmates who were locked up, and I'm not saying they're inmates, but first thing they said, man, I'm going to say it raw tonight because, you know, this is Friday night. Man, I want a good woman. I need some good pussy. I'm going to the church because you got some freaks up in there. And as far as the dudes that are in there, I'm not saying all, because you're going to have somebody in the comment section, well, we never had that problem. We never so and so and so. You don't know. There was churches that I went to where there was a dude doing another dude in the restroom. Did I see exactly what was going on? No, but I saw the feet. And this is one pair of feet here, sitting down in the toilet bowl, and there was another pair of feet facing in. That's what you think they were doing, right? That's your business. But don't bring that around. Leave the kids alone with that stuff. They're pushing this stuff on the children, being around it. And what do you think? There's a clique of them that I knew, and even my brother here knows that person. you know, lived in the same neighborhood. And it was a whole crew of them in the church. This is in the early 70s, into the late 70s, into the early 80s. And much of them didn't even live beyond that. There's one who died in early 94. He passed away right before my mother did. My mother lived a longer life than he did. But I knew from way back that there was something going on with him. He pretended to be hetero. But there was always this, and I told this story before, and I'm gonna tell it again. I'm gonna make up a name. Kevin, you know who it is. You know who it is. We all grew up together with different people, and we know well. But there was this one guy who every time he would speak to this guy I'm talking about, and let's make up a name for him. I don't want to slip and say his name. Let's just call him Bobby. And the other guy who we knew he had a lot of sugar in the tank, but we didn't even see that then. But looking back, it's like it was obvious. And there was 4 of them that were tight. They never ran after no women. Women will walk by. I'm not saying you have to hawk or gawk at women, but come on now, even when you're polite and you see somebody so, you're like, oh man, you might not turn your head and look, but you might do the slick thing, like scratch your head and hide your eye and look at the reflection of the parked car, like, you know what I mean? There's ways of looking without being caught. You know what I mean? But it never fazed them. It never fazed them. And this guy would talk to Bobby, the fake name. Bobby, you're always late with your fat behind. Bobby, you're always the last one eating in the restaurant with your fat behind. That's why your fat behind is so fat, because you eat so much. Bobby, why don't you wash your face before you come outside? You got that big water cottage cheese in one eye and the yogurt in the other with your fat behind. How does everything come around to your fat behind? We knew he was a little chubby and most of his weight was in his hips and his ass. So what? I'm not going, that's not what I'm looking at. Show me some female ass. I don't want to see no man ass. And yo, fat behind. Because he was up in that fat behind. And that was their lover's way of talking, you know, because he never disputed it. He never said anything against it, you know, and there was 2 other ones that they were around, or actually 5. There was one who eventually, as he got older, and he ended up working with my mother at the college. Maybe that's too much information. I don't know if he's still with us. Maybe he is. But it was a lot of that going on in the Black church. And why is it allowed? Who helped to engineer it that way? Who gave it the A-OK? Because I know that with a lot of these jackleg preachers, it's like it's an unwritten word to not say anything about that. You don't talk about that anymore. You don't want to insult them anymore. And again, I don't hate anybody. If you want to dress up on a Sunday morning and go to a service and wish everybody well and pray to your God or whatever it is you pray for, I have no problem with that. But I promise with the hypocrisy and the overall purpose of why this is allowed with this flaming stuff, there's a lot of molestations going on from straight men, but there's a lot of it going on with gay men. And they're not going after girls, they're going after little boys. And there's a wayward thing to me, the majority, which may be 51%, all the way to 99 or 100%. It's the hunger that never dies. It's a hunger that never stops. You see 2 of them together. I'm not saying 80 years old because they threw anyway, but reasonably young, and one's always peeking, looking. It's a hunger. I mean, in a heterosexual way, I've had that hunger. You finish and you physically done for the night, and you on your way home. You're like, look at her. What's her name? You know what I mean? So it's not just a gay thing, but when it's that, especially with what's going on in the society, and they still feel, no matter how much they can write into law, you can get married and so on, they still, some of them arrogant ones still got something to prove. There's some who are low key, who don't bother you. They mind your business. You mind your business from what they're doing. We get along fine. We meet on the jobs. We meet out in the street as neighbors in the supermarket. We fine. We cool. I love you. You understand? As a human being. But this arrogance, this condescending way, because you feel funny about what's going on inside of you, and there's a resentment. And a lot of them may have a resentment toward women low key, even though they get along with them, they want to be them and can't be them. You know, when they look at a married man or a man who's dating somebody or you know, in a hetero relationship, the biggest prize to them, and I don't care what nobody says, people in the gay community have got to agree with this, but the biggest prize for them is to get a married man or get somebody who they know is straight. And when you straight talk about straight stuff and being straight and loving yourself as a straight man, they get mad because they don't have a chance to deal with it. And I know I'm gonna get people in the comment section who don't like it. You know, that's right. Let me see what's going on here. Yep. It's where it all started, and maybe a little before. You know, exactly. Tracy J. Why is the choir director always sugary? That has become a staple in the black church, up there and shaking his behind and all this stuff. And people, ha, 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 ha. And it could be a nice guy, mannerable and all that, but he's got to put a little bit of fruitiness in it. And the kids are seeing this. Let me get a sip, yo. This thing is looking too good. Oh, living clean and natural. There's nothing that beats it. No drugs. Never touched no drugs. Mm-mm. Even people from back in my bodybuilding days like, oh, we knew you touched a little steroid for a little. No, I did not. Hard work, y'all. Hard work, dedication, like Floyd Mayweather says. Yeah, let me see what else is here. You see how stuff coming out? D Wade and these wild sex parties, old men with young boys. See that? No, but D Wade, come on. Him and his wife came out here to Ghana. They're pushing that out here now. They're starting. The president is going to allow these things to happen when he was against it. And it's here. It's been here. They walk down the street and give me the peripheral. There's one that walks by in front of the apartment, and outside of the door, like that's the hallway, but it's not enclosed, it's open. So you go to the railing, you're looking right out at the street. So it's really cool sometime when I want to take a break from my work. I don't have to go all the way outside. I can go to the back balcony. I go there and lean up. Hey, what's going on? You see somebody you know, you go down there and you talk with them, and they come up. And there's this one who's always sashaying. And keep turning and looking. Or if he sees me walking up the street, he starts walking slow. I just stop. I just look at my phone or talk to somebody. Yeah, they're out here. Believe that. They're everywhere, y'all. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. And to get hung up on it, you know, we have to know who we are and what we stand for as straight men, you know. So the Pope really hated women. No man is supposed to yeah, right. All popes are freaks and so are nuns. They don't want to be with a man. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? The amount of licking, you know, the amount of clit sucking. It's not no man doing it. And those nuns who get pregnant, they said there was some story I heard where they found like mass graves, shallow graves of baby skeletons, you know, the abortions and different things. And what the hell? It should be about the order of creation, right? But it's like the church, the Catholic Church, the church, they're all sold out into really being into these other things or being permissive with it. They should be calling this shit out. They should be calling it out. I don't understand it. You're going to let somebody who, and I'm talking about all the sicknesses, but especially that. And why again? Because even in most black churches, you are not going to find these days, you will find some, but not the amount that we used to have of strong, heterosexual, straight pride black family men. They had an energy about them. It's like you're not allowed to be a full man in the black church today. That honor can only go to the pastor. He's the only one. I'm not saying every pastor is screwing every woman who sits up in the front row with her legs hanging out and a very inviting cleavage going on. But if that's not going on, it's still going on in the spirit. It's a hierarchy. The pastor knows certain single women, and the minute you try to talk to them as a new member, Or a person who just came there, he got his eye on you and he's not liking it, even if his wife is sitting there. And the sneaking deacons and all the other people who are under him are designated parts of his team that go out and find out the business of who's who. And if it's a pastor that's undercover gay, he got a couple of them quiet brothers who might be married or might have a girlfriend for show who's going to find out about you to see what you are and who you are. And we're so glad to be love bombed no matter what it is that we're into. By that new congregation, oh, I'm so good to have you here. Welcome. We would just love you being part of the church family. And you know, that lasts for a couple of weeks. And they always, like I said before, I said in other shows, they always want to come up in your house. Can we visit with you? Can we fellowship with you? We'd like to bring you a gift. Might be some cake or some somethings that they had catered or something, and 2 or 3 of them come to your house, and there's always like maybe 3. There can be 2, never 1, because they got to keep you going. And they always come there with full bladders. What's up with that? Oh, can I use your restroom? And they busy looking up in your medicine cabinets to see if you on Prozac or you on some kind of psychotropic type of medication or something wrong with you. Counting your toothbrushes. The toothbrushes look kind of new. She got 5 of them in here. Looking around to see if there's some man shoes around if you're a single woman. You understand? To see who the kids are. Oh, what school did they go to? My child goes here. And if it's a school that's a private school that's affluent to go to that takes money, oh, they got money. They don't have an expensive car, but look where they live. And they go into this school and that school. You know what I mean? And they look at your mail. They'll be sitting, you pick your mail up, y'all. It might be something from your job, a form or some kind of paycheck if you get a paper check, or even a statement if you get direct deposit, and they're going to see where you work. Size you up. If you got enough money coming in, they're going to love bomb you longer to make you come back. It's all about what they need. The church is supposed to be a place that's like a hospital for those who need healing from the things that they've indulged in out of the world. You can come there that way, but you can't stay that way for long. You can come beat up, cracked out. You can come whored out. You can turn 50 tricks on the stroll the night before. All kind of flaky white stuff around your lips, and you know what that is. And you're going to stroll right up in there half naked to the church. But there's going to be a sister that helps you to keep yourself covered, and you can't stay that way. You on drugs, you come on in. But they should be trying to help you to not stay that way. So when they take that money for tithes, it shouldn't be about, well, and see, black people are so superficial. They want to be a member of the flashiest church. Not all of them, but a whole lot of them. Yeah, my church, we just erected this big glass that goes on this side, and they opened it up and we could see this, and they had this new gym constructed and whatever. What are you doing for the people? The people who are hurting, the people who are on the verge of committing suicide, the ones who can't afford to take care of their children, and the children will be taken away, and you sit there and you let that happen. I'm not saying an abusive situation, but you're getting all that money. It should be coming right back to the people, and you take what you need to run that church. And you want private jets, and you want this kind of luxury car, and this kind of, no. And if you had that stuff before, you got to level up. If you're really about the people, but they're not. And us who are so stupid and gullible, we are pimped. The congregation, most of the time, is nothing but hoes, a building full of hoes, walking the stroll to go to their jobs to get that money and bring it back to the pastor. So he's your pimp and you're his prostitute, except you ain't walking around with your titties and ass hanging out. And in some cases, you are for him. But if a real upright man or group of men come to that place that have a certain spirit, and they can see that there's no play in you, you're not wanted there, things will be said about you. They'll try to push you out through lies and innuendo. And you say to yourself, why do I need to be in a place like this? Because he has his harem. He has his little imps, his little punks, who are probably sucking his dick too. And as far as a whole gayest place, yes, a lot of these pastors allow that. They'll feel more comfortable around an effeminate man than they would a real man. And when I say real man, I'm saying morally upright, no matter how long or short his dick is, a real man who has morals and standing. He may have had a past, but he don't do them things no more. We all have a past, don't we? Right? But when he senses that there's no play in you, he may throw out a word to you to see how, and it's subtle, to test you. He may not even be the one to say it. He may send one of his little deacons, one of his little imps to say it. He talk and get to know you and whatnot, and the little imp, his little crony, well, you know to this church and you're new here, and can you handle all these pretty girls around here? And if you answer, I don't know, man, I noticed, man, you're looking good, then you know they got you. They know you're a weak man. But if you say to him, listen, man, that kind of thing there, I don't come here for that. It's not what I come here for. The word will go quick right back to the past as soon as you turn your back. Either way, either we got him, or we see his weakness, or we know that he's a real thing, and we got to watch him. Like the pastor that wanted me to come in the basement of the supermarket that he took over to make a church, wanted me to run a gym when I was 17 years old. Over my girlfriend's house, 3 o'clock, I want to hear he comes up there to go screw the older sister right up over where the parents' room was on the first floor. Right? So I done seen it. And they promise you little perks with that. He's going away to some church revival or something in another state, and he's going to bring you with him because you're supposed to cover for him. And he don't always like the married men. He wants to have the single men around him. Why? So when you walk around town with that single woman that he's screwing, they can't blame the pastor. It's all kind of tricks I know about. Living double lives, lying to the other woman. Women have called me, Lance, please blow him up. And one of the reasons I may not have gone down that route is because I'm not trying to hurt his family. There have been people I've known like, listen, man, you know, your game is falling apart. And who am I? I'm not claiming to be some saint or somebody's pastor, but at least I have a consideration for a person's family. Like, man, it's getting around it, you know. I mean, phone calls from Tampa, San Francisco, Chicago, Detroit on this dude, pastor, traveling around. Came hung out with me one time. When he called to say that he got to where he had to get to, about 3 girls behind him. Where you at, man? I'm in the room, man. Come on, get off the phone. And you hear the bottle, a little cup with ice in it. Ain't nobody nurse no little glass of soda like that. Come on. I know what time it is. I know that world, and I know the world, and I know all the tricks. I can teach some of you pastors some tricks, but I ain't trying to mess up nobody's life. I don't think like that no more. But it's ridiculous. And you don't mind these little effeminate boys around you because they will do your bidding. They're like little women in the church. They'll do whatever you say. And I do mean that. That's why a lot of these pastors and a lot of men in general, they don't give a damn where the so-called pleasure comes from. I had one pastor tell me, well, you know, we all struggle with things, and there was a time when I first started getting into being a pastor, I just thought to myself, well, a mouth is a mouth. What? Let's get raw. A mouth is a mouth. No, it ain't. I want to see nothing down there swinging the same thing I got. I want to see titties. I want to see booty. I want to see them thighs. I want to look at that stuff when I'm getting done. It's blowing my mind. Oh, my God. We human. Acting all holier than thou, letting this stuff go on. And like I said, Black manhood is not acceptable anywhere right now in the world. They're taking the programs to learn our history out of the schools. With Ron DeSantis, don't you think that's going to catch on somewhere else? Do you think that he just came up with this? Especially in politics, they will get one person to do something what they would consider radical. They'll focus on him, but it'll be brewing up somewhere else. How many of those white Republican conservatives and some of those Democrats, how many of them are fighting against that, saying it's wrong? Because they're all with it. And even if they do come in some milquetoast, watered down way, right? Just the other day on Valuetainment, YouTube channel I would always watch with Patrick Bet David, who I used to have a lot of respect for. He had Roland Martin on. And there was another guy that he was trying to set up. And Kevin, I got to send you this link so you can see it. It was just supposed to be, they were speaking about politics and race and different things. But Patrick Bet David had Roland Martin on there because Black issues are entertainment for white folks. And he says Armenian, or he could be Iranian, because you know they don't want to say they're from Iran, right? But those guys who come from them places, when they come to America, they get the honorary white card, and they're going to defend everything, that all the white talking points, because they want that honorary white card. And to you, with your Black ass in their mind, they white. And he didn't want to hear nothing Roland Martin had to say. Roland Martin could be a clown at times. We understand that. But Roland Martin was waxing them. But they had planned on bringing someone else, and I forgot his name, another Black man that didn't get along with Roland Martin. And he didn't tell that man that they had Roland Martin there on the panel. He said nothing of it in the email, nothing of it. Down to the point where they had the driver pick up not Roland Martin, but the other guy. Like I said, I forgot his name. He wasn't on the show, but they wanted a big clash between Roland Martin and this other Black man who had different viewpoints. So this is how they use us for minstrels, for their own entertainment. So when Patrick David was arguing and debating with Roland Martin, he couldn't really hold his ground because he didn't anticipate debating directly with him. He thought the other guy was going to be there, and he didn't show up. He got there, but some way he's like, no, I'm not doing this type thing. They tried to set him up. And Patrick David was trying to come on and explain why it went the way it did. If you have a panel and I get called to a show and there's a panel there, you need to tell me who's going to be there. Don't flip it. Well, you should have asked. No. And when they had that driver come pick up the other guy, he wheeled him around all over town to come back somewhere that he could have walked. Timing it, because they wanted him to walk up in that studio and see a guy who they may be somewhat enemies. I hate to say that for two Black brothers, but they may be on that roll right now. See? So everything they do is not for us to be better. They're erasing us. They want to erase us. They use us to build a country. They use us for our brilliance, for their purposes on the front lines of their wars, or to advance their society before they get rid of you. And so now they figure pretty much they have other races of people and other cultures of people who honor and want that whiteness so bad, that white privilege card so bad. What do they need us for? And they smear us in the media. So many of us are great, and they see our greatness, but if we don't have a mindset of subservience to them and their society, they get rid of us. They'll try to use a little bit and get rid of you. All over the world now, they're pushing the LGBTQ thing, which really is a form of population control, because like I said, there's no life up in another man's asshole. And they think long-term. This is not gonna be something overnight. But how is it that we have so many gay Black men coming out, and the gay Black men ain't complaining because that's more for them to date and mess around with? They want that. They don't mind. And I'm asking the Black brothers who may be gay, don't you see the overall thing? The overall situation? I'm not hating on you, but look how you're being played. Those nuts you got should be hitting some ovaries and making more of us. You look at the next man as an object of pleasure, and you're going up in the wrong orifice. How twisted can we be? Ain't no ovaries up in there. And yeah, they have other races of people who are caught up in this whole thing, and it came from them. With the respect into. That's what they do. And they love taking the strongest of us and psychologically buck breaking us. They love to build some up who they already know have a propensity for that. Make them famous. You know, in 10 years, you're going to be coming out. Oh, no problem, no problem. And so we say, well, and look what it's doing to the little kids. It's all about erasing us. So with certain diseases that we all can suffer, a heterosexual man can have heterosexual sex with a heterosexual woman and get AIDS. But it's a different kind of lust that I don't understand with these guys. Again, I don't hate you because there's something even more sinister in this. But understand what's going on to all of us. I hate to see any one of us wiped off the face of the earth and not have a family, not have offspring. And again, it's not for everybody to have children, but make yourself useful to the Black community. You like that, and you get 2 or 3 Black children that you can sponsor with your wealth if you have some money. See, they don't want you to do for your own. This is why celebrities cannot do for their own publicly and even privately. They got to answer to somebody with the money they have in their bank accounts. Where did that $3 million go? The person might be worth $500 million and $3 million goes missing. You think all the accountants that you have as a person who has money as an entertainer or an athlete, you think that that accountant is not being compromised to tell somebody else what you're doing with your money? Right? Look at Usain Bolt missing all those millions of dollars right up under his nose. We can't move without somebody being all up in our ass. We can't. And if we think a certain way, talk a certain way, whether we have money or not, they looking, the cross threads are on your head. And it may not be a bullet, but it may be something to keep you back from whatever. This is why I don't desire much of what's out here. I just want nature. I'll take the minimal. I'm in the system. I do need money. But it's less of a need now than it was 5 years ago. It's less of a need now than it was 10 years ago. I want to reduce my need and my overhead. And the less you have dependence on this system, is the freer you can speak. But they have plans to tighten it up for all of us. So the only thing that's going to get us over is our unity, because you see, when you start with that gay stuff and lesbian stuff and identifying with that over your Blackness, that's the beginning of the end. And for those who say, well, let them go ahead and do what they do, that we are one body. That's like the eyeball saying, well, you know, I don't see the liver anyway. He's down there doing something. Let that Negro go. You need the liver. You need the pancreas. You need your lungs. You need your asshole. Like the joke where if the backside tightens up, ain't nothing gonna happen with the rest of the body. You can't even see it. You've never looked your ass eye to eye. You know what I mean? It's back there and down there unless you're doing something with a mirror or something. Now, maybe somebody else you're dealing with saw it, but you ain't see it that close. You have to break your back. But we're all important, no matter what our status. You see, sometimes I've known, and I'm not saying all, but we got to be real. And if you gay and Black, you knew it too. It's a way of not facing your Blackness. So you identify with being a gay man or a lesbian woman running up, talking about we're going to get our rights. And you all happy because a bill was passed or law was passed and we're moving closer to getting our rights. And you go on your side of town and get shot. Or your little brother gets shot and killed by the police. And all them other gay people that you was hugged up with, they ain't coming over there to mourn your brother or help out or get rights and things change for them. They don't give a damn about your Black ass, but it feels so good to be accepted by white people. And we're in the organization together and they gave me a position. They don't care about you. You're the little black spot on the sun today. You a token. And you thought now that you were relieved of the pressures and the pain of being Black. There's a lot of pleasures and greatness in it. I love being Black. Growing up in America, there were some uncomfortable things, but at the end of the day, I know I'm the sugar honey iced tea. And you know it too. And they know it because they want to be us. But they do not like our men. They don't like strong, straight Black men who work hard, hold down their families, who are morally upright and ain't going for the okie doke, and who are not easily led And that's what I mean. Back in the day in the black church, we had more of that. But the black church now is the homosexual grooming station. And we're supposed to love everybody. And we can't say love what? You breaking family lines. The energy cannot connect right, no matter how much you force it. You can't put a round peg in a square hole. These energies repulse each other, but you're forcing it. You talk love making with another man, that's friction. I can't even say masturbation. Basically, you masturbating with the next man's ass or mouth. You see a man and a woman tender. I had an Instagram short video sent to me today. And it was so beautiful. It was a man on his back on the bed, and the woman was straddling him. It wasn't sexual. She had some pretty legs though, but she was like spread eagle on top of him. And he was writing something in a pad to her, and he flipped it and showed it to her. And she looked at it and smiled, and she wrote something back, and the look of love on her face and the love that he had. And after a while, they sent so many messages to each other without talking, right? They hugged, and you could see the fulfillment. See, you can see the love and the connectedness, the real intimacy. And I'm going to talk about some of these heterosexual couples, heterosexual men and women, and the men, oh man, you know, I'm going to give her this dick. That is not intimacy. That is not. And when you start thinking that way, you a step away from being a homo. Because all you can use your sister for is for friction. But what happens if the illusion of a woman comes up on you in the street? Damn, she got a big ass and big titties. Look at them lips. Look at that hair. The hair fake, lips pumped up with Botox, fake butt, and a bigger penis than you swinging between them legs. But you rationalize because you half drunk and you horny, and you're like, well, all they're going to do is suck me off. So you fantasize that this is a woman. But it ain't got no woman energy, the tenderness of a woman, the sweetness of a woman. You know, and I'm saying this as a married man, but I'm just saying, it doesn't minimize the beauty of a woman, how they bedazzle you on a spiritual level when they're right. Because there's a lot of sisters out here that they ain't right in the head. They're not working properly. They're not cultivated properly. Because of the people who remain quiet, who are supposed to be in those positions to correct you. You start running a little funny. The man, hey, little man, come over here, let me talk to you, man. Why are you running like that? Oh, well, you know, it was just a little joke I saw on TV. No, a man is not supposed to run like that. I made a joke one time. We had a headrest, a bunch of headrests. You know, they're like, you know, they kind of go around your neck, and you put it, the big thick ones, you lay back on the couch, and it's just more comfortable on your neck. And I had one in my hand. I don't know how I ended up in the front of the house, near the front of the house. And there was a woman that was walking down the street. I must be like 7 years old or something. She was walking down the street. Some friends were in the front of the house, and she had big breasts. So, you know, when you're young like that, titties are funny. Ooh, look at her titty balls out. The adolescence hits you like, oh, damn, they look good. You know what I mean? So she walked by, we were giggling. And so I took the headrest and put it up front. It was like going like this, like, yeah, look, she got some big titties. My father was out in the van outside, and he could see through the hedges. He came out the van, and I looked. He didn't know it was a joke on the woman, but he's like, "Come here for a second." He said, "What are you doing?" I said, well, "What do you mean, Daddy?" He said, "No, I saw what you did. He said, don't ever play like that ever again." He said, "Why did you do that?" And I had to tell him why, because I knew where he was going, because he wasn't going for that homo stuff. But it wasn't homo stuff. We were making fun of the woman because she had big titties. You know, I let him know, and he was like, okay, but don't ever do that again. You're not supposed to even think that way. I said, "Daddy, but I was." He said, "No, listen, shut up. I'm telling you." You know what I mean? Some of us didn't have that. Some of us had milquetoast, watered down people who say, like Dwayne Wade and the other ones, who encourage them to be themselves. I don't want to restrict them from finding themselves. But if the school is telling them, you're in the wrong body, you're in the wrong body, and you shut up about it, and you see stuff on TV, on the internet, on cable, pushing this thing, putting things in your head. You go with some friends and their family, and you go to a restaurant after you go to the outing, you all are hungry, you want to get something to eat, and you have an adult saying, you do want that chocolate cake, right? You do, and you know you don't want it, but you're getting the chocolate cake, right? And you're like, okay. Guide you to something that's not in you. And that's what that is. And we're too gullible and afraid to speak. I'm going to say it. I don't care who like it. I welcome the scathing comments from those who don't think that way. I'm not challenging you and saying you don't have the right to do what you do or think like you think, but I challenge you to open your mouth and say, Lance, you are wrong. Tell me. You tell me I'm wrong on those accounts that the kids and the children are not supposed to. Did I save something on? I should play it. Now I got a bunch of things here. I think I recorded it and saved it. Let me see something here. No. 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 Where did I save this thing? I think it's kind of where somebody can say it's hate speech. Now, I'm not scared. I just don't have the other platforms anymore after they got rid of my account after the whole irritated genie thing and Jew thing. So now I'm only on YouTube. I keep my stuff. No, I'm on other podcasting platforms with audio, but video, I'm only on YouTube now until But if you go to the site right now, LanceScurv.com. The page for this show is up. It's on the home page. And if you want to chit chat after the show and continue on, you can go to LanceScurv.com because I have it saved the same way. The chat room was right there under the show. So the chat room will always be there. After the show is over, if you want to continue to chat, always you can go there. There's live chat and it's going to be on the home page when there's a show. When there's no show, I take it off the home page. With the chat room is there 24/7 with private rooms and stuff like that. Nobody really goes there, but I'm just saying it's there. I always provide that. But like I said, if we don't open our mouths, whatever it is, look, a lot of us, we do have a little issues with Donald Trump. Donald Trump, where was it that he, there's a street called Wexford Terrace off of Hillside Avenue. I forgot the area, but it's near Wexford Terrace. And when you go up the hill past Hillside Avenue, up Wexford Terrace, it gets different. It gets real different. Hold on a second, y'all. And that's where Donald Trump was born and raised, right there in Queens, right above, what is it, Jamaica Estates? Was it Jamaica Estates? It might be Jamaica Estates or around Jamaica Estates, but white folks with a little bit of money. And even I have to agree with the clip that he said. I wish I could find this clip, but I'm not going to play it because YouTube, they watching me hard. YouTube is like the feds watching that little corner store establishment for 2 years. They watching them to make sure we know he's selling drugs out of that place. We're going to make such an airtight case when we come against him for the surveillance and the facts. So if I play it, it's going to be real bad. Somebody else plays it, right? But what he was saying, Donald Trump, is that he does not agree with them pushing this trans agenda to the kids, elementary school, underage, ever at all. He says, leave the children alone. This is not the place. We got homeless people. We got people who need health care. Politicians always will come with some stuff. And that doesn't make me say, oh, he's a changed man. And he said, no, it don't mean that. But at least with that, who else in Washington is talking this way? There may be somebody that may be whispering something, but they're all part of the hierarchy. And for him to say that, it made me respect his balls a lot more. I'm not looking to see his balls. I'm saying the man got balls to say that because we know how this world is right now. And he said it. He says he's going to take all of that out, all that stuff where they want to inject you with things and at a young age make you change your sex and the chemical castration and all this different stuff. Take it all out. If you get older and you want to do that, that's on you, but not the children. Stay away from the children. What gays are actually saying that? There might be some, but when they know they're part of the smaller minority and they don't want to make no waves, then I don't respect you at all. And I don't even respect your right to even pursue some rights in the society if you can't tell me you against the kids with that mess. I'm not gonna look, if you are about them kids getting caught up in that, like I said earlier, I don't hate anybody. If I see you in the street getting beat up and it's wrong, whatever, but if you believe in that, I'm not going, you gonna get your ass beat. Not by me, but I'm not gonna help you. The kids got to have a chance, man. It's already bad enough what they put in the food to mess them up anyway. What's in the water? Who knows what else they're doing? They can be shooting stuff in your brain electronically, man. There's certain, now I'm not saying confused, like sexually confused, but there's some mornings I wake up, I'm ready to go, and all of a sudden it's like, I'm confused, like, what was I supposed to do? And it ain't old age. There's things going on now that we have no idea what they're doing. How come there's so many damn black men who are coming out as gay? And if you don't even know that, the ones who are down low doing what they do, they're taking their mind off of the mission of what we need to do. Even too much sex is no good. You can't be thinking about that 24/7. They make it hard for us not to see that or think from that mindset. Sex is a beautiful thing. It's a good thing. I'm never going to stop loving it. Anything that goes on between a man and a woman consensual, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not into forcing nobody to do something. I'm not into whatever. But man. The children, I'm with Trump on that. I'll say it here publicly. And I'm not some dude who's into politics. I don't like him, really. I don't like any of them because they're whores. They'll sleep in the bed with anybody. But for him saying that publicly, on that issue, me and him, I'll say it, LanceScurv and Donald Trump see eye to eye on the fact that they need to stop pushing our children chemically, mentally, spiritually into this rainbow crap. And he said, and this is what he said, if he becomes president, he's going to break all of that stuff down and take it away and make it where any doctor who's pushing that or will do something like that, they're going to get locked up in federal prison. Good. Because you know what? If I was in those positions, which I know I wouldn't last long, you'll be coming to a funeral soon, I would say the same thing and so much more. And I would be fair. I would be fair. Tell it the food to be brown on the shelves of the grocery stores. That they, right, wasn't injecting these chemicals. They have nothing good to, exactly. Shelf life. They want to keep a long shelf life so they can make the sale, and they want to have us absorb these things because it's not like we're just like that. I know when I was a young boy, I couldn't wait to go outside and play. I had boundless energy. Hell, 2 months from 60 years old, I still got boundless energy. So I was eating some good food back then. But now we see how we age and we get so much. We're going to age. The body is made to expire. And we're fighting against so many things that we don't know about. I mean, I feel so different after leaving America here. Yes, I'm getting older and I can see it, right? And I feel it a little bit, but I feel better over here. And there are other places in the motherland where the atmosphere is even lighter that I'm going to investigate. But we don't know what we have to deal with out there. The lack of sunlight, the artificial foods, the people telling us it's a chocolate cake you want to get, right? The chocolate cake you want to get, right? It's okay to be gay. It's okay. And they're teaching us stuff. Also, I think I deleted it. I could have played it. It's this woman who was speaking about a book that was going to be pushed in some school in some county in America. When I find it again, I forgot where, it's got to be on my phone. I'm going to transfer it off. I'm going to play it again. Not now, though. And they were basically saying, let me know if you heard about this. where they were pushing parents to be open about sex, meaning that, and they had suggestions, and I saw the illustrations on, it wasn't graphic, but they drew nudity, but you didn't see no nipples, no dick, no vagina, you didn't see that, but certain angles they had it. You saw the mother in the bed with the husband riding them, and you knew what it was. It was something that legally you can show, but you knew what it was. And they said, leave the door open so that when you are having sex, your child could see and understand this is a normal thing. When you're breastfeeding, or maybe you're performing oral sex on your husband and your daughter walks in, let her see, because she'll know what to do for her husband. Just what that book said. And it was this white lady talking about it. She was pissed. And they were saying to walk around nude in front of your kids. The body is a beautiful thing, but it's not for them to know certain things yet. Let them be kids. Why are we pushing all this stuff on the children? Of course, they may go in the schoolyard and find some things out, but you control what you can control in your home and do it decent and in order. And as a child asks for certain information, then you can give it to them according to their level, their mental level. You can't throw it at them hardcore like that. They should have such a full, busy life that they're not thinking about this stuff anyway. They're going to push something on a 6 or 7 year old, but they're not going through adolescence and want to know stuff. And yes, you should talk with them and give them the facts when the time comes. And just like I was on a conversation the other night, we don't tell them enough, right? We tell them, well, don't do it. Don't have sex. Save yourself for marriage. Just like Master Glam last night, she was saying it. That's the conversation that was actually shown. And so what happens with the gaps, with them not knowing? Don't do it and wait for marriage. And you're not being defiant, but you're laying in the bed at night in your adolescence, and you pretty much have seen things on the internet. You might have kissed up with somebody of the opposite sex and they touched you and you want more. And you know how strong this drive is. And you're going to tell them, wait for marriage and save yourself. Somebody you dating with them and they go down on you, you feel how good that thing feel. You an addict. Have you forgotten what it feels like to be a teenager, late teenager, early teenager, and you messing around that way? That's the world. I could tell you when I was in my teen years, I was a sex fiend. I was horny all the time. I was a gentleman. And the women who used me, I loved it. Use me, baby. Shoot, I can do this all day long. So you have to equip them the right way, so they know how to handle this thing. You don't put no 10-year-old behind the wheel of a 5.0 Mustang. Just take it around the block, Johnny. It's just like your go-kart, just a little more power. Little Johnny gonna die before we get to the corner. Kiss your son goodbye. Yeah. Right. Exactly. Who wants to imagine their children getting freaky the same way? Who wants to imagine their parents doing it? And this book telling them to be open in whatever you're doing. You could be in the, they come home from school early and you got your wife bent over you on the couch. You sitting there, chicka. Hey, little Johnny, go in the kitchen, there's some sandwiches there. After I come, I'll go to the store and get you something to drink. What kind of mess is that? And that's not even gay stuff. And they trying to push that on the children. How to put condoms on the thing. What they need to know that for at 7 years old? Unless they're being molested or have an adult over them who is doing them things with them. I don't understand. Anyway, let me take a look at some of these comments because they've been popping up, and I had some other things pop up. And I love this Apple computer so much. I don't think I'll go back to a PC again. I had this thing for like 4 or 5 years. Yeah, you're right. The gayest places entertainment, the parasitic elite, of course. And it goes to a spiritual thing. I'm not saying spiritual good, but spiritual decadence. Okay, yeah, all right, we saw that one already, but you're still right, Indigo. It's a sick thrill that those who are decadent have when they see that they've broken somebody into something. I've seen that. I've seen that with lesbians. I'm not picking on lesbians. I've seen it with lesbians because when I used to have my parties, a lot of the girls were doing each other and a lot of lesbians were there to do them girls. And so when they had some girl who came to a get together and they said, well, you know, she just wants to watch and, you know, she's a little shy and, you know, she's curious and all this stuff. And 2-3 hours later, she down there getting down, munching the carpet and being munched. And the other one's a girl, it's good, ain't it? Girl, and they get twisted. Like they broken in, like you one of us now. Ain't that something? How things work. I'm telling you how it is. I ain't holding back. I've never been in a situation where there's men around because I don't hang around men like that. But from what I would hear on the conversations when I'm driving the bus, that's how it was. You know, one guy, he was sitting with his supposed girlfriend. The girlfriend gets off the bus. He had this deep Barry White voice when he called this next dude. Hi, Johnny, how are you? This is another person sitting behind me. I just can't wait to see you. You sucked me off so good. It was so good the other night. She can't compare to you. I pulled the bus over. I was at a red light anyway. I was like, it's the same guy. What the hell? There was a dude we knew who eventually became a pastor. And I had a radio scanner that picked up cell phone conversations. He about to get married. He didn't even let his wife know. His fiance know. I've never heard two people speak more sexually explicit and passionate. I hate to use the word passionate for that homo stuff. I couldn't believe it. I three-wayed some of my friends. I said, yo, you're not going to believe this if I tell you, so you got to hear this. And we all hung out later on that night, and all we did was like, we were all messed up. That was back then. This thing has been around, and they're pushing it, and it's going to be around, and they don't care about us, the older folks. We'll be gone. They'll be dead in 20 or 30 years. And what we're doing now is not going to last, because if we're into materialism and status and want to be seen and want to be famous and gossip about the next person, that has no value. The things that hit me at younger ages, I couldn't have survived unless I had something put in me good and strong for me to be able to talk like this. This ain't because of me. This is because of way back my foundation. This thing still slipped through the cracks. But you got to lay the foundation. They're laying the foundation now. Latchkey kids, and you working 2 jobs, and they got the devices and these things put in their head and they're seeing it. It's normalcy for them. Stop assessing them with your own mind. That crap ain't flying with us. But for them, they may not be into that, but they're very comfortable with it. And we're not, what they say, homophobic. I remember we were on the train going into Manhattan. We had to be like about 16, 17 years old. And there were no outward anything in public then in New York City, unless you were down in them clubs late at night, whatever have you. And there was 2 dudes touching each other's dick and kissing. I mean, through the pants. We're like, yo, we don't want to see that. We jumped up, you know, we were buff. Man, take that stuff somewhere else, man. You ain't doing that out here. We got little kids over there. We were righteous little boys. And they got scared. I wasn't going to do nothing, but the way I was walking toward them, the way my face looked, I don't look like that no more, but I was very imposing at that time, very intimidating. I could be. And they got up and they jetted. We were laughing. We weren't going to do nothing. But no, we can't have that. So just the same way, how you going to have your girlfriend all out, hanging out half naked and kids are out there? No, man, you take that inside. We know what you're about to do. Hell, I might do some of that later on too, but it ain't going to be in front of you or anybody out here in front of no kids. But they have a stronghold now. They have a grip now. You know, when you have those walls in the mall or in these amusement parks where, you know, climb the wall and there's little ways you can grab on and you go higher and higher, but it gets harder and harder as you get higher. Those holes are deep. They near the top of the wall now with us in our community. To the point where churches don't say nothing. You let that stuff go on. Don't you look, man and woman. Stop confusing these kids. If you're doing that, put it undercover, man. What are you here in the church for? To get hookups? Because it seemed like it. Like I told you back in the end of the summer of 1982, when I was competing in bodybuilding, you could tell it through my clothes. At the end of the service, I went there in a tent in Brooklyn, somewhere behind the pink houses, back there where they used to race the cars. At the end of the time, 10 dudes standing behind me, around me. I thought it was one. Oh, my brother, I'd like to help you with your Bible studies. And here's my name. I put my name and I put my number. Oh, Johnny, no, I was here first. I was standing here before you came. I'm going to help him, so-and-so. Well, I don't know what you're talking about. I had to go to the back. Pastor told me that young man back. I was like, what the hell? I go into the bathroom and they following me like that little cursor with all the things following behind it wherever it went. And these were dudes my age and a little older. And pastor said, what? Pastor was down with that. You got too much of that sachet and go on, and they'll say, well, we can't disagree. Yes, you can. You can stand up and say, hey, I don't care if it sniffs like it. Because you know we got a lot of straight men that sometimes people think that, oh, he's a little sweet, but he's not. You got some straight men that you think are sweet, and they tan everybody up. You don't find out about it until 10 years from now. Oh, you know that guy Ronnie on the job, remember 10 years? Yeah, I think it was a gay dude. No, he wasn't gay, man. He was hitting Brenda. He was hitting Sally. He was hitting Shaniqua. He was hitting this one. And what? No, you lying to me, man. That guy was a straight, what you talking about? You have him like that. But even the appearance of it, like they say with these pastors, don't even do anything that has the appearance of wrongdoing and the appearance of evil. How are you going to roll up on some church sister's house and her husband's at work and you going over there and you go up in there for 3-4 hours too much, you go and lay hands on her and pray? Oh, I know. She needs to pray and you're going to lay hands on her. These things happen. Keep yourself out of those situations. Don't even have it look a certain way. You know what I mean? Let me see here. What you say, Kwame? Why am I shocked at the nastiness? No, I'm not shocked at it. I've done enough hetero nastiness in my life to know that there's parallel worlds out there and things that are going on. Like I said, I'm really blessed to be alive. And life goes by so fast. And when you get caught up in things that don't matter, I was speaking to my dear friend the other day and I said, listen, God rest their soul, but your parents, man, they built an empire, the both of them. Your mother was a homemaker. The father worked a real good job and he held it down. They had, wasn't the King family with 50 million kids, but they had a good amount of children. And when I look back, I see the job that he did because, I was a young teenager when we started hanging out, and I saw when you look, and the father passed away last year, not a full year, but less than a year. God rest his soul. And, when you look back on all of us who, whether we were middle class or lower upper class or, lower class as far as money, impoverished, whatever, most of us decent people working hard, we don't get the applause and respect and the admiration that we deserve, our parents or the ones that raised us. No family is perfect, and we have haters in our family. We have people who are turncoats and who are trying to sabotage you. But we have a lot of good people who are morally upright, even if they were struggling with their own little vices. We know decent family members who struggle with the bottle. We knew upright men who worked and brought home money, all the money for the wife and the family, but he may have had a girlfriend around the corner. We're not saying we condone that, but for the most part, we tried to put an image up that our kids could look up to. And later on, if they found anything out, if they weren't, and then a lot of parents that walked the straight and narrow, but at least give them a chance. You don't put these things in their face, and especially this stuff from young. I can't have that on my watch. I'm going to sit here and be quiet while you teach kids that, look, I better not even go up to a school and see something like that. I'm glad I'm out here now. I'm like, what are you teaching the kids? This is not right. I'll let them know. I want to, why is this up here? Well, there'll be problems. If I was in America and my children were not grown and they were younger, and I'm going to these classes and I'm seeing that, no, I'm gonna shame them out. I'm not gonna go rip the place down and get locked up, and that's what they want. But no, I'm not going for that. I'm not going for that. That's not going to be on my watch. You know what I mean? How long I've been talking? Woo, been getting up there. I'll talk a few more minutes. But at what point do we reject this stuff? When do we see the ship going left? At what point do we say to the person who's the captain, if you can't steer this ship right, push you out the side, man, I'm going to do this myself. I don't care. But too many of us are too damn timid. We're too weak. We have jobs that we're scared we're going to lose. To hell with the job then. Are you so easily compromised in your moral being and fabric that you're scared of this or scared of that? And again, like people told me, oh, you ran to Africa, man, now you talking that trash. Look at my old videos. I was probably even worse then. And I don't mean worse like it's bad, but more intense, which I'm focused on getting more and more that way and pushing the limits legally on YouTube because they dying to get me off. That's what they have OnlyFans for. That don't mean I have to have sex on OnlyFans. I can talk some real crazy stuff on L and they can't touch me. That's a possibility, right? You got to be shrewd in this game. You got to be smart, disciplined, and as a warrior, ready to throw down every single day, no matter when it is. You see that real warrior? He's in the bed with his wife, and he's sleeping, and she's cuddling him. Don't you think that when he hears a noise in the night, he ain't ready to grab his blade or his piece and go out there and do battle and put his life on the line to protect his family? I'm always ready. On this level, on all levels, and that's not talking tough. That's how I move. That's how I walk. I may mask it with some jokes. I may mask it sometime being quiet. There might be somebody on the show that says something I don't agree with. Well, let them speak. We got to know how the enemy thinks. I'll interview people who, I interviewed this guy who was damn near a Klansman one time. I told him there's certain words you ain't going to say, and I had a reason for that. Long story, but I had a reason for that. But we all need to know how the enemy thinks. Wasn't promoting that stuff. I would love to have a gay dude who can tell me, I'm not going to disrespect nobody, because a lot of them want to come on and debate with me and prove me wrong and get all these hits and followers because they slayed LanceScurv. I don't get down like that. But you tell me from your point of view. You know what I mean? And I'm not promoting nothing, but I want to know, how do you feel about this? Like, see, my thing is mainly the youngsters who they're pushing into certain things that they're too young to make a decision on. It shouldn't even be on the menu. It shouldn't even be on the menu. Anyway, I do have to get up early. I'm going to get a lot of footage tomorrow when we make our runs. And I might go live tomorrow night again, but Monday to Friday, it's always going to be. But I probably will stick something. And I think me and Mrs. SCURV are going to do something. I'm going to try to squeeze something before we go. We have a certain place we have to be over to at a certain time. So I'm going to be fully rested, and I'm going to keep that camera in my hand, and I'm going to be in different areas of Accra that you haven't seen before. Just regular stuff. Nothing spectacular. It's not an event. Just regular walking down the street type stuff. But I want to make a long thing so you can kind of zone out and just see whatever, think your thoughts, whatever. That's very necessary. And there's so many other conversations that I want to have on so many different subjects. There's one topic I want to speak about, and we want to speak about Ghana, the pros and the cons. Cons don't bother me because I'm in my own world, but there are pros and cons if you're not ready for it, because we have a lot of people who will come here from America and from the UK. Oh, yes, it's heaven on earth. Yeah, to me it is, but you're going to have to make some adjustments. We've been through a few things since we've been here. Mrs. SCURV wants to talk about that, but I said, well, listen, let's either do it on maybe Patreon or something where, not because I'm trying to get paid off of people, because I'm going to start that thing back up again. But for those who are haters, not seeing the ones who donate to that, make them earn that. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna get that information too fast like that. But and I was speaking to someone else a little bit before the show started, and we were comparing say like Ghana to Kenya. Kenya's sweet. Kenya's sweet. So, brother, if you're still listening, I'll be there very soon. And I'm looking forward to what you have planned out for me, and I won't let you down, you know? Anyway, let me run. I'm feeling it. I did a lot today. It's hot, sweaty. Can't wait to get out of these clothes and just spread out and just fall asleep. You know, I got this almond milk, what's left. I got like 5 more back there. I swear, I'm so thirsty. I'm going to knock off this one, and I'm going to knock off the next one too. And I'm going to finish off some of this granola. Oh, man, this is going to be so good. It's the ultimate threesome right now. Maybe 40 years ago, I would have said something different, but mwah, mwah. I'm a freak for the culinary delights, right? But I'm going to play this thing by DL Hughley again. I'm going to hit the banner up, and I'm going to sign off. Just want to say salute to my brothers. Much love to my sisters. If you don't fit in any one of them categories, that's your problem. You did it to yourself. But I love you all. Take care. And I will see you tomorrow. And just thank you for blessing me with your presence. We'll put this banner up again. I'm going to play that clip again a couple of times, a little music, and then we'll sign off. And I'm going to get an early bit. This is early for me. Let me see. This is what? 11:52? Shoot. Most of the time, it's like, let's do 4 more hours on the show. I know. Maybe this weekend. Miko, I saw you pass through. Let's get in contact with Kimberly. Let's see if we can do something this weekend. Something funny. Something fun like we did before. That was a 10-hour show, y'all. I'm going to admit, I may not be able to hang for 10 hours, but, you know, y'all can. I'll sleep a little bit and come back, you know, because I need a little more sleep tonight. I'm going to sleep so good. And thank you for rolling with me this week. I think, what was it, Monday I didn't do a show? Let's shoot for 5 straight, as it should be, Monday through Friday. And I'm open for suggestions and everything like that. And challenge me. I will talk about anything. I want to have an open mic kind of thing, and you ask questions and stuff. Not that I'm all of that or whatever, but just challenge me. Ask me something. I may not say something too personal that may incriminate somebody else, but just ask me whatever you need to ask me, and we'll roll like that. I'm going to play this clip one more time. Is this one here?
I think the gayest
Here it is.
place on the face of the earth is the black church. And it's one of the most repressive. Because I think all the dudes there is kids that used to got to go with their kids, dudes that used to got to go with their wives, and men that are trying to pray the love of dick out of their heart. They're like, I'm already on my knees. So like, I just think it's the gayest place on the face of the earth. And it's ridiculous to act and pretend like we don't know that these things exist. I think the gayest place on the face of the earth is the black church. And it's one of the most repressive. Because I think all the dudes there is kids that used to got to go with their kids, dudes that used to got to go with their wives, and men that are trying to pray the love of dick out of their heart. They're like, I'm already on my knees. So like, I just think it's the gayest place on the face of the earth. And it's ridiculous to act and pretend like we don't know that these things exist.
for us. It's what I need, it's what I need. Gotta believe for us.
I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm tryna do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Oh yes sir. I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they said. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Can't be a real, might get you canceled. The whole system need to dismantle. Coppers treated like the utmost wanted. Trying to rule the block but don't know what goes on. News got a story with a new take on me. Carrying out the window with the screw face on me. But I know that God love me when my burn. 95 degrees and I can't get sunburn. Wonder when your government will make me legal. Burn the whole city if I can't be equal. Get off my please, Brad, I earned that. 400 years, how you still ain't learned? I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm tryna do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Oh yes sir. I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they said. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Shout out to the trying to gentrify the genre. Tell them free my middle finger to your honor. In the days coming down the seconds on the timer. Goofy still trying to purchase that designer. About to buy, learn to grow my own food. Cause I don't like the look they give me in the Whole Foods. And when you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready. But it ain't on me now, I'm limping cause my heavy. But ain't sweet, think we thin. My whole attitude on MC Ren. It's my neighborhood now, Bob, I bought that. 400 years, how you still ain't caught that? I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I'm tryna do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Oh yes sir. I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head. I see the things that they do way less than they said. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out. Cause it's a war on the real, baby, look outside. A war on the real, baby, look out.
Why are we called Negroes? Why are we deaf, dumb, and blind? Why is everybody making progress, yet we seem to be lagging so far behind? Why are we mistreated? Why are we in this condition, stripped of our names, our language, our culture, our God, and our religion? Here in America, all of our religious training has been gotten by the preacher. He has told us of a heaven way up in the sky that we can't enjoy now, but rather after we die. But all of the years that we're living, For us there's nothing but hell, pain, torture, and misgiving. Yet the Bible speaks of a heaven filled with material luxury, which the white man and the preacher has right here, so we see. So my friend, take it for what it's worth. Your heaven and your hell is right here on this earth. So let's check back into history, which rewards all research and tells us plainly. Before the white man gained entry to the East, he was living in the caves of Europe, a ravenous beast, eating juniper roots and eating flesh raw, till God sent Moses to civilize him, teach him the law. Then following Marco Polo, an explorer, he gained entry into Asia and Africa. From China he took silk and gunpowder. From India he took jute, manganese, and rubber. He raped Africa of her diamonds and her gold. From the Mideast he took barrels of oil untold. Raping, robbing, and murdering everything in his path. The whole black world has tasted of the white man's wrath. So my friend, it's not hard to tell. A white man's heaven is a black man's hell. Before we came to America, we were living in the East. By the Nile River, we were living in luxury, enjoying freedom, justice, and equality. We wore silken robes and slippers of gold. We were the wealthiest and the wisest people, I'm told. Now we are the poorest of the poor. Nobody wants us at their door. So my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven is black man hell. When the white man came to America, he told the Indian, I am your white brother. He said, red man, I'll treat you the best. Yet and still he pushed the Indian further west with his white woman and fire water. With tricks and lies he stole America. The original owner of this nation is cooped up on a reservation. So my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven is black man hell. He needed someone to work the land. His back was too weak. He needed you, black man, so he commissioned Sir John Hawkins to commit the world's most grievous sin, to take a man who's born to be free and bring him down to slavery, to sell a man as merchandise, on his body put a price. Oh my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven is black man hell. John Hawkins showed up in our country, telling us of a land filled with luxury. He said, black man, follow me to America. There you'll find more gold for your labor. Our parents were tricked onto his boat. Since that time we've been wrestling with the gold. We landed here in Jamestown, Virginia, 400 years to suffer. So my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven is black man hell. When the slave master wanted to have some sport, he would heap on our parents cruelties of the worst sort, burn them at stake, hang them on trees. His ears were deaf to our parents' pleas. Though you were pregnant, black woman, you pull the plow like a horse, like a dog, even a cow. He filled your womb with his wicked seed. His half-white children you were made to breed. Oh, my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven is a black man hell. So-called Negro, open up your eyes. Black man everywhere is on the rise. He has kicked the white man out of Asia, and he's going fast out of Africa. With every ounce of strength and breath, his cry is give us liberty or give us death. The whole black world has their eyes on you to see what the so-called Negro is going to do. So my friend, it's easy to tell. Our unity will give the white man hell. God made a promise to Abraham. His seed would be a stranger in a foreign land. They would suffer and be afflicted 400 years, but he would come, wipe away their tears. Our God and Savior, Allah has come. He has declared the white man's day is done. He has given us a divine messenger, one prophesied to come. His name is Elijah. We now can stand up, the whole world to tell. Our God has come to give us heaven and take the day.